Hello and welcome to Critic Interviews, my interview show where I get an MLP analyst or reviewer or related title uh, and ask them questions and they answer them. On the show this time, I have a special guest, the ANY pony. Say hello.
Hello there. As you already said, I am the AnY pony.
Right, let's get to the first question. How did you become a brony? How did you get into the show?
Uh, I guess I have a really short answer, and a little bit more extensive answer. The very short answer would be two letters would be CR, which kind of guess brings me to my not so entirely short answer, which would be CR is an anagram stand for Chad Rocco. People are not familiar with him. He is a reviewer on That Guy with the Glasses. Not too much in the loop anymore if he's still active or not, but at least he used to be a few years back. And well, I consider myself a big fan of his, liking his taste and his show and everything. And at one point, he made a two-part special, which was MLP, a retrospect. This was, oh, don't let me lie, uh, 2012, I believe, autumn 2012. When did the second season start?
2011.
Ooh, the show is from 2010. God, my sense of time is a mess. Okay, so it apparently was 2011 then, with the beginning of the second season, that he made this video. The first part being about the previous generations, and the second part being, I believe, 20 minutes long and about. Yeah, Friendship is Magic, especially the first season, and a little sneak peek into Return of Harmony. And well, being a good fanboy I am, or at least I used to, I was like, okay, Master Chad Rocco tells me to watch this show, so I watch this show. So this is also why I never had this. The funny thing was, before I saw this, I never caught anything. I mean, MLP or MLP, especially film fiction, FIM had been around for a year at this point already, but I never came across any screenshots, videos, or anything. So I was completely oblivious to My Little Pony at this point, except, of course, the older shows which I came across as a child but never really paid attention. It was just one of the shows I don't watch. And so yeah, I was completely oblivious, completely blind, and just followed his recommendation basically of the show. So after watching this video, I kind of seeked out the first few episodes and started watching. I guess I'm not sure if it is good or bad that he pretty much spoiled the entire first two episodes. So the entire pilot was kind of spoiled in his video, and so I watched it and I was like, oh great, I already knew all this. Considering that I don't see the pilot episodes being among the strongest of the show, this might have been a good thing because I was like, oh great, I already knew it. So I already knew what happened because of his spoilery. So I continued watching because I was like, okay, I can't really come up with my own opinion because, well, he already told me everything. So I needed to continue watching. And so yeah, I watched a few more episodes and I was like, hey, this show is really good and watchable. So I continued watching, and so it basically just became one of the shows I watched until a year later, in the late summer of 2012, shortly before the third season started. I kind of decided to become active, and well, you know, it basically from there.
Hmm. Alright, that's interesting. Uh, Sorry for my unenthusiastic answers, I'm just feeling kind of ill. Uh, So, second question, what is your favorite episode of My Little Pony and why?
Favorite male pony or
Of My Little Pony. What's your favorite episode?
episode? Sorry, my bad. Do I go with my default answer, which I haven't really updated the thought. Basic. So far I usually used to say lesson zero, but giving season four, I guess I probably should watch at some point lesson zero and Pinky Pride back to back. But I guess I would by now I would say Pinky Pride because this episode was just yeah, so well done in each regard and every way that I still love Lesson Zero to bits. But first of all, I'm biased since I'm a Twilight fan, and uh, second, yeah, I guess Pinky Pride has more to offer.
Coincidence, my next review is actually Pinky Pride.
Huh? I hope it will be good, or otherwise.
Alright, who is your favourite pony and why? It doesn't have to be just be contained to the main six, just so you know.
Oh, the actually, I wouldn't have gone let myself be detained to the main six. The more interesting question is canon only or also fanon. But yeah, let's keep it to canon. You asked favorite pony, right?
Yes, favourite
Good
pony.
man, good man, good man. Because best pony, I would first of all, I have an answer for both, and I would have you actually you kind of betrayed me for my opportunity to smart ass. Because usually when people are like best pony, I'm like, oh, there's a difference between best pony and favorite pony. But okay, since you asked for favorite pony, I would still go with Twilight. Back between season 3 and 4, I was like, oh, we have to see if there are major character changes because of the title thingy. I was not one of the guys who panicked about it, but I kept my sense of careful skepticism because you never know what they would do in season 4. I'm glad that they, with the way they did it, and I see Twilight still being her Twily self. So, yeah, I guess I stick still to Twilight being favorite pony.
So you like the fact that she, while being this, while having a new role in the show, she still has stuff to learn.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a little bit. It became a little bit more difficult considering that she became a more passive character. When you, for example, think about episodes like Rainbow Falls or other key episode where she is this kind of passive guidance person, people started comparing her role to the role of Celestia, and I personally enjoyed her more in her active role, but she is still. She has still her little bit of socially awkwardness to this adorableness, so still has her of anxiety not under control. So she's still lovable in this way,
All right.
and the new role doesn't interfere with it too much. So
Okay, this is a typical question, but why do you think grown men watch a show aimed at little girls? What is your opinion on the brony phenomenon?
um, basically, NLP came at the right time. And was at the right place, and lucky coincidence, basically. For MLP in that regard. Lucky or unlucky, well, we have to. I guess it depends on who you ask about the entire fandom. What I think is basically the. I guess there was a certain need for it there in internet communities. People were kind of unawarely, they were not aware of it, but there was a certain need in a group of people for something that has this peacefulness, cuteness that MLP provides, with the sense of community and yeah, those aspects united. And MLP was just there at the right point. It had lucky coincidences that it got this big start on 4chan. I mean, we don't know if it actually would have ever been able to develop this kind of momentum it got. And it kind of has a certain difference to other in contrast to other fandoms. I mean, other shows also have their fandoms, but because the Brony fandom had to face so much prejudice and so much aggression from the outside, like from all the people who do not understand it and who are like, "Oh my God, what is this?" This kind of stigmatization. This brought them closer together. They were not just an mainstreamy, generally accepted all over the place fandom like. For example, Gravity Falls or the Avatar show, which probably both have, if you just go by numbers, bigger fandoms, but they are not so organized, not so close together because, well, you don't have you can't just be casually a fan of the show. With MLP, it is when you are too old, and especially when you are male, then you cannot just casually be a fan because people will question you, and so you seek out other people who will not question you for enjoying the show, which kind of formed the bond between the bronies, and also, yeah, on the other hand, which also formed this kind of uh, flamey zone at the outskirts of the fandom with haters on the one side and fanatic fans on the other, which both sides are not really, yeah, dignified.
So in your opinion, uh, the only reason well, one of many reasons, but one of the reasons the Brony fandom was able to blossom so much is because there was so much negativity and resistance from the rest of the internet.
Um, in a certain way, yes, I guess so. Because it's because it brought us so together. If nobody would have, I would say there would still be a very solid and creative fan base around this show if everybody would have been just like, oh, okay, they are fans of a cartoon show or whatever. If nobody would have been like, oh, it's you, for little girl, what are you doing? Then it would not have gotten this dynamic. And I mean, it kind of is all connected to each other. The entire explosion on 4chan, when it all started and became more than just a few guys posting images, when it became this, got all this momentum. Um, I mean, this also happened because there was this kind of counter movement, like, oh no, you're not allowed to do this, and then people were like, oh, fuck you, mods are asleep, post ponies and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Um, so it was a factor, yes, I would say it was a factor, because there are other shows out there which are also more. More fantasy-like, more idealized in its presentation, but they never got this momentum. So there must have been, and I would even say there are a lot of better shows out there. But still, it was MLP that got this kind of spot where, yeah, people on the internet who enjoyed the show. I mean, the show. Once other big ingredient is that the show is good. If it would have been trash, all this would never happen. There would never have been an honest enjoyment of the show on the side of the yeah, of the bronies of the first hour. So yeah, you needed a good enough show. You needed some kind of spark. I mean, I'm not saying that it couldn't have taken a different way, but I say yes, the sense of community became especially strong in the Brony fandom because of the negativity we had to face.
Right. Uh, what uh, what do you want to see more, or sorry, what do you want to see in season 5, in terms of uh, episodes or uh, something like
You
that?
you are so lucky that I still haven't come around to make my season 5 wish list, because otherwise I would just point you there. Uh, but yeah, as things are, what do I want to see? I guess I also have to rewatch my season 4 wish list, which actually turned out really well. I believe I at mid season I kind of reviewed it, even in a video I made, was like, oh, this and this and this has already become true. I really should do my final review of it, or my final evaluation, and be like, oh, how well did my wish list for season 4 do?
Yeah,
For season 5,
I was kind of worried about I was kind of worried about asking that question in case you had already done a video about it, and then it'd be like, just like, you haven't watched that yet, and I'm like,
how dare you?
I'm sorry.
No, I haven't done it yet. I still had it on my list. I hope I get it done in time. I mean, with the Comic Con previews, sketchy thingies already out. People will probably, when I make my video, will be like, it has already been shown that this and this might happen. I will be like, God damn it, I hate spoilers. Shut up. I haven't watched and I don't want to know. But
Yeah,
yeah, since probably 70% of the fandom already know at least those previews, I can already imagine some of the comments. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I won't see it. So this is still my own opinionated expectations. What do I want to see? Certain things an idea that came up recently in talks with people is what I really would like to see, and I guess with another long season there might be actually room for it. One of the cutie mark crusaders getting her cutie mark. And
that's definitely a popular thing amongst the
but
fandom.
but really one. I can I know that people are like, oh, they should get their goddamn cutie marks, so we finally have quite. But I would say if they get their cutie marks all at once, maybe a second talent show, and this time they distribute the roles correctly, and then at the end of the show, when the audience is cheering, bling bling bling, they all three got their cutie marks. This would be such a lame moment and wasted potential. Because just think about all the stories, all the episodes you can build out of the fact that only one gets it. And this for the rest of the season. That they have to cope with it, that their friendship has to be kind of tested. Because so far their friendship was, at least officially, just because they were the Cutie Mark Crusaders. They were trying to figure out what her special talents were together. So if one of them gets it, they will, first of all, they will probably struggle a bit. Like, is she still a Cutie Mark Crusader? Is she not? Then they but then eventually they will figure out that their friendship over all the years has been more than just looking for cutie marks, and they will probably have to figure out what this means for their club now and stuff like this. This can be content for 2 or 3 episodes at least, not to mention that it's further develops the series as a whole, because things change. And as as the show stuff pretty much proves by now, they are absolutely open for the concept of change. While the first 2 seasons were absolutely static in their way, that pretty much all episodes were interchangeable, except maybe the pilot episodes, of course. But nearly all episodes were interchangeable. You could maybe say that, well, Art of the Dress has to be before the best night ever, stuff like this. But wait, Out of the Dress was the name of the song, not of the episode. You know what I mean.
Yeah, Stitched for Success, yes.
Exactly. You can still be like, okay, there are the small episodes which kind of need an order, but overall, the status quo never changed. You could always switch episodes around, and this was probably intentional because it makes re-airing of a show so much easier when you just can randomly spew out the episodes, and the little kids parked in front of the television will just watch it, and well, parents don't have to worry about complex storylines they have to explain to their children. But yeah, one great thing you have to see to say about Megan McCarthy's Ryan is that she is absolutely that she pulled the show into a completely different direction with first Alicon Twilight, which pretty much makes all previous episodes not interchangeable again with everything after that. This was at the end of season 3, and season 4 continued this tradition by not only having a bigger story arc, which in itself was still interchangeable, but at the end, library down, ugly crystal tree castle thingy up, which is another status quo. From now on, no shot of Ponyville can be confused with a previous episode because, well, you see this thingy, and not to mention that probably the entire main 6 cast will have very different stories from what they used to from now on. I kind of guess. I mean, sure, they will probably have still their 70% of all episodes being more slice of livey. They will have their Cutie Mark Crusader episodes, which are not focused on the main 6 at all, which is all cool. But at least in the opening and the final story arc, there will be probably a lot of direct involvement with the castle. Will be there. And well, whenever we visit Twilight in her home, it will be a castle and not the library anymore. So yeah, where was I coming from? So they pretty much did not only open the door for change, they show that they are completely willing to do a continuous change throughout the show from season to season. So why not do something other permanent, like giving, for example, one Cutie Mark Crusader a Cutie Mark?
Going off of that, just one of the Cutie Mark Crusaders getting their Cutie Mark, I had an idea that instead of one of the 3 Crusaders getting their Cutie Mark, well, that would be able to span across the season. This is probably not as good an idea, but have Babs get her Cutie Mark.
The problem with that is that Babseed, I'm not even sure if the voice actor of Babseed is a regular member of the show who just does an additional voice. But if she is a guest actor, I don't know, she needs to be more involved with the show. Also, I think the impact would be smaller because it would still be that the trio itself would still stick together as a Cutie Mark Crusader trio in Ponyville, while Babseed probably just comes for a visit, is like, hey, look, I have a Cutie Mark, and then back to Manhattan. So unless Babseed moves to Ponyville permanently, I would say this wouldn't have such a strong and impressive impact.
Yeah. Anyway, is there a character you would like to see get more development in the coming seasons? Any one specific character that you don't feel was developed enough in the previous seasons?
Only one? God damn it. I guess I have a list. uh, I guess maybe I would go with. Okay, only one. I go with Silver Spoon.
Well, very interesting choice. Care
Yeah,
to explain?
yes, I can. With what I was kind of they started to do a little bit more with Silver Spoon and Diamond Tiara in season 4. Previously, they were really just the super flat bully character, which were only there for the Crusaders to act off. But we got a few. We got in Fly to the Finish. We got this little scene where Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon are observing them, and we kind of uh, went to their perspective for the very first time. Usually, we never saw them plotting and actually talking about stuff like this, which kind of showed me, yeah, they could do more of them. Even so, in what was it, Twilight Time, it wasn't so impressive anymore. But well, okay, there was another writer and whatever. But yeah, basically, I see the potential for those two to become a bit more than just those super cliche one-dimensional bully characters. I mean, you can do fun stuff with mean characters. But why do I say Silver Spoon over Diamond Tiara? Diamond Tiara is more in her role as the annoying brat girl, the spoiled one that is only always bossing people around, stuff like this. She's kind of more stuck in her role. But with Silver Spoon, we get very, very little nitpick that or pieces that hints that there might be more already in her character, but which still needs to be built up on. We have in Twilight Time when Diamond Tiara is like, oh, and I can be a best friend, and no, I don't really know what the quote, what they literally are saying. It's like Diamond Tiara is always like I and me, and she is jumping in and being like and me and I. So she kind of starts to have trouble being even because Diamond Tiara is even mean to her. He is even ignoring her and always forcing her into second place. So she kind of has to already fight for equal status, which is a question. How long will she keep up with this? How long will she bother letting Diamond Tiara treat her like that? And a similar example in Pinky Pride. The short scene in the song when you see Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon at the cafe, and Diamond Tiara is singing about how Pinkie Pie organized her quinceanera and stuff like this. Uh, what we basically see is both of them get their milkshakes. Diamond Tiara gets a smaller one. She sees that Silver Spoon has a bigger one. What does she do? She throws away her own one and yeah, not actually steals. I mean, it's daylight and everything. It's pretty much robbing, taking away Silver Spoon's bigger one. Then she sings her monologue, turns back, and Silver Spoon just took it back. And seeing this kind of rebellion going on, I can see. I would like to see more going on there. Yeah, which kind of answered the question.
Hmm. I'm just thinking about that right now. That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's once again looking for interesting stories that can be told out of this. I mean, my second idea would have been one of the princesses, but this is always a difficult thing because on the one hand, keep letting them be a little bit more mysterious is one of their strong suits. Explaining too much of their backstory and filling too many of the holes takes away a lot of space for fantasy, for coming up with own ideas, which, in my eyes, and we talked about this in the CBD at some point, is one of the really strong suits of the show, which also provided so much space for such a creative fandom because there was in the beginning there was so much unexplained. They explained a lot of stuff. They throw in a bit of lore every now and then, but they let a lot of stuff not explained, not in the sense of plot holes, but simply not addressed. Never really yeah, in detail, shown in detail what was going on, what happened, how does magic work, how do the princesses work, stuff like this, and it led a lot of room for creativity in visual form, in writing own stories, stuff like this, and especially the princesses could be tricky to explain too much. I mean, always a question: how much canon do you consider the comics? I personally don't, because it doesn't. It simply does not add up. I mean, they are kind of approved from the official side, but often enough they just tell stories so completely differently that you still have to question in how far you can consider them canon. I mean, some of the characters are displayed 180 of their usual personality, so it just doesn't add up.
Mm.
So yeah, and with the princesses, I would like to see a little bit more of development on the one hand, but on the other hand, I'm also good with seeing the mystery staying in place, and they are also extremely difficult characters. This is pretty much where the whole controversy about those characters comes from, in my eyes. That God characters are always a pain to write in a balanced way. Because you always have to ask the question, well, are they, how powerful are they? If they have absolute power, why is there a problem? I mean, it's pretty much the question real life religions have to ask. So, but yeah, it already starts in the show as well. Are they just God? Are they just higher beings, or are they actual gods? If they are gods, how can Chrysalis defeat one? Yada yada yada. And so yeah, I would go with maybe keeping the mystery.
I don't think the Alicorn sisters are gods in the Greek way, like Zeus and
Mm.
others such as that. I think they're just powerful beings, but they are considered as gods by their subjects.
I guess the last part is out of question if you see how the ponies react to them. Um, uh, as I said, it's tricky because they are immortal. So apparently, they seem to be forever young and stuff, never aging. So it is really hard to determine how old are they. How much is their how large is their power? I mean, they obviously don't have absolute power. Otherwise, they wouldn't have needed the elements of harmony the first time when they stood up against Discord. Then again, you could say Discord is a god of chaos. So well, now we are back to square one, I guess. Yeah, as I said, but that's the point. That we even can talk about it is because the show never made it entirely clear, and that's, I guess, a good thing. Because if you give a too concrete explanation, you are going to disappoint some people. Some people will be like, "Oh, this doesn't really work for me. I don't like those characters anymore. This is not the kind of character I can work with in my mind." And keeping them vague makes it more applicable to more people, or accessible to more people.
I agree. Speculation inspires conversation. Anyway, we're kind of going a long way off of the what I expected the thing to go for, so let's just go on with the questions.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm not sure if I should ask this one because it's kind of a touchy subject with some people. But what canon character would you consider shipping yourself with, if you do at all?
Well, in that regard, I guess I could point you to what was it, my 10th Ask video.
Uh,
No, where I sing what was it? The romantic song from Aladdin to Twilight. So
uh,
so yeah, it's uh I mean, it's basically primarily fun. So I more see my OC being shipped with her than me as a human being shipped with a purple pony in a magical world, which kind of, I don't know. She is a cartoon who is flash animated. This is kind of like, I'm three-dimensional, honey. Um, so yeah, but basically this comes back down to that she is my favorite pony. So if I am like, well, I mean, I guess you could, well, especially when you have for future interviews guests who are kind of feeling touchy about it, you could rephrase the entire question like, who could you imagine character-wise to be a character to either be, or it's the question. Shipping is always more a fun thing in my eyes anyways. If you are asking about serious relationship, you probably could rephrase it into what character of the show could you imagine to date in real life as a human person, and then all the touchy stuff is out of the way. But yeah, a little bit crazy, nerdy girl sounds perfect. So yeah, Twilight, come here, human Twilight. No, not. God damn it! No, it's Equestria girls. When you say human Twilight, you first of all you see this kind of stick figures in. God damn it! But there are some really nice drawn human Twilights on DeviantArt. So I'm talking about those, not the Equestria girls ones. That's yeah, yeah, yeah. Next question.
Alright then. If you woke up in the world of Equestria as your OC, what is the first thing you would do?
Uh,
Or where would you like to be?
I guess Candlelight has a good internet connection, doesn't it?
Um,
I don't know. It's the problem is my OC is still kind of me analyzing and reviewing the show, but actually being a part of the universe doesn't really work as being an outside observer. So I guess I should continue writing my self-insertion fanfic I started, which is about a page long or something. Maybe I can come up with the point there, but even in this story, AnY turned out to be a little bit of a loner who runs a comic shop in Manhattan. So
right, I'm just gonna consider this the last question because the other question is kind of complicated.
well, you can ask it and still edit it out if it turns out too bad.
All right. What? Sorry. What motivates you to review or analyze My Little Pony, and why did you want to actually start becoming more involved in the community?
It's actually not so complicated to begin with, I'd say. Um, Well, the initial motivation is, at least in my case, to can be explained rather easily. I at the point I discovered MLP, as I said earlier, I was watching Chad Rocco on That Guy with the Glasses, and he was not the only character or the only reviewer on the channel I followed. I At this point I basically have watched everything of Nostalgia Critic, everything of Linkara. Was well familiar with Angry Joe, and not sure how the chronology is, but there were a few more characters over there I watched. There were some video game reviewers on YouTube, and the escapists I followed, like Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation, like Total Biscuit. So I already was very interested in reviewing as a show style, as a medium. And previously to MLP, I already had a different channel where I had my show, a show in which I reviewed reviewer, but not in a serious way. It was actually more, while my MLP analysis videos are all rather serious in the sense of that what I do is while I'm still joking around a lot and making a lot of nonsense, the analysis I do is kind of serious. I mean, when I say, "Hey, this scene works," yeah, usually mean that it really works, and it's reflecting my actual real life opinion of it. Back then, it was basically I was playing a character which was reviewing reviewers from his point of view, and he was a self-centered, arrogant idiot. So basically, he was me, but a different version of me with a different opinion. So I played a character reviewing other reviewers, and so yeah, I already did stuff like this. The only problem with the old show was it took me half a year to come to produce another video because it was real life. I played up to 5 characters at once. It was all filmed in front of a green screen, and the editing took forever afterwards and stuff like this. And when I saw MLP coming around, I actually was like, oh, I'm just doing this one thing just for fun. I never intended to stick around. I created this separate channel for MLP because I didn't want it to scare off one of my 50 subscribers I had on my own channel. I was so worried about my old channel getting negative influence by making a pony video on there. Um, so when the third season started, I was like, oh well, let's do this. Because I was like, why not become a little bit active? I mean, you can do a little bit. I was already starting to collect MLP fan art on DeviantArt. So I was like, oh, you are a YouTuber. Why not just for fun make this one video? And my first video from the Crystal Empire was, first of all, it was fun. It was so much more relaxed than the real life stuff I did previously, and I had the time back then that I actually managed to pull it out in within a week. So I was already done when the next episode aired, and I was like, "Oh well, this was fun. Let's do the next one as well." And so it was actually so there was a decision to, yes, become a bit more active in the fandom. And I did the one thing I was crazy about back then was reviews, internet reviews. I mean, I have a rather analytical way of thinking, so analysis is really or reviewing or critical reviewing, which is the same word, is kind of a thing that comes natural to me to begin with, which is also a warning to everybody out there who is like, oh, I want to become a reviewer because it's famous, but when you have not an ounce of critical thinking to yourself, or you at least it doesn't come natural to you, maybe look for a different show format. I mean, you can still do sketches, you can do one-liner thingies like Jerry Bell, Pete Jerry. I can never remember his name, especially since his channel has a different name than his this persona.
You mean Ballspawn?
Yeah, exactly, this guy. And his channel is called Jerry Pete or something, which is confusing the hell out of me. But yeah, there are different formats. There's different stuff you can do. Don't do analysis just because there is this kind of analysis community thingy going on. Do something that comes natural to you. But yeah, for me, it came natural because, yeah, thinking critical and analytical is a thing I do, which is how my brain is wired to begin with. And yeah, I had the kind of like, yes, become, you really like it. And I just discovered a little bit of the existence of the fandom. So I did the one thing I kind of was familiar with, thanks to that guy with the glasses. And yeah, I mean, back then when I did my first video, it was basically only 3 or 4 people around. Tommy Oliver, Golden Fox, Paleo, Strabiskunk. I'm not sure if there was any other review. Okay, Saberspark also had his 2-bit series back then, but nobody else was around back then. So at least nobody really worth mentioning. I mean, there was another guy who started basically at the same time as I did, but he never took off. He vanished rather quickly again, even before the entire thing broke loose. So yeah, it was really back then was like, hey, I'm into reviewing. There's a show I like. Let's do a little bit for it. And
Yeah, thinking critically about this doesn't come naturally to me either. I go off of the sort of thing that I learned over time to like even if you go from my first video to my most recent one, you can see a clear evolution in both my voice being more confident in speaking and just things like that, editing quality. So yeah, I certainly understand that whole thing.
But about this kind of things that comes with routine, just go back and check out my first video. It is like pony creator, first of all, pony creator. 2, I believe for my first video I had 6 poses or something. 2 pony creator poses, two horrible recolors, and the rest, I don't know. So yeah, also I was talking a bit more like this because, well, I wasn't used to speak English on a more regular basis back then. So for everybody, go back to my first video, check it out, and have a good laugh because it's horrible.
There's actually a video I have, but it's not uploaded onto any kind of channel anymore, and I just mumbled like this, and you just couldn't understand the word I was saying,
Uh,
really.
but
But
then
yeah,
but it's great for purposes like this when you are like, hey, look how far I've come, or also for yourself being like looking at your more recent video and as you just did, being like, hey, look what I have already accomplished, how better my editing became, how better my speaking became, stuff like this. I guess it's a great it's a great way to show where you came from. That's also why I usually do not delete any old videos on my channels. Even when I'm really unhappy with them or stuff like this. Yeah, I kind of see it as a part of integrity of a channel to be like, hey, I did crappy job back then, but I stand to it. It was where I started. This is where my roots are, which is also, for example, why I totally disagree or disapprove of this Zachariah guy. What's his face? The Flamingo 69 or whatever. The double rainbow guy. That
Flamingo Rich.
yeah, I was like when he removed this entire video and was like uh totally yeah, wiping his vest clean of this pathetic training project he did for university or whatever it was. I mean, come on, dude, you put a lot of effort into it, a lot of other people did. If you wanted to have a clean start, why not simply create a new channel and let this old channel just lay there? Not do anything with it, just let it be there as some kind of historic landmark in the YouTube, in the landscape of YouTube. But no, he had to delete it and be like, oh well, wipe the history clean. Why? This is an attitude I cannot share. I mean, there are, especially on the internet, other ways to wipe your background clean if you feel the need to do so. Just as I said, start a new channel, whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, I have 4 YouTube channels,
Well,
not only using 2 of them. So,
yeah. Well, that's basically all the questions I have. Thank you for joining me on this show.
welcome.
Uh, not that you really need it, but I'll do it anyway. If you want to go and check out his channel, it will be in the description. So I have been a fan of the videos for quite a while before I started making my own. So go and check them out. I'm Ponyville Critic.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
the AnY Pony.
Thank you for listening.